Joining us now with more, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. He's a Trump surrogate and former federal prosecutor. Mr. Mayor, good to see you. This is
good to see you.
I mean, this is a separate thing now. I mean, we've been focused on the email investigation, which Director Comey just reopened. That happened last Friday. This is something different, where you've got two sources familiar with the FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation talking about pushing for an indictment in the absence of obstruction, they say.
Well, this was the one that I always thought was clearer. I mean, as a former Associate Attorney General and U.S. Attorney, I could make this case in about 2 months. I mean, well, I'll give you one example, a nice clear one, UBS, right? UBS gives the Clintons $660,000 for the foundation, $30 million loan, and a $1.5 million speaking fee for Bill Clinton. And Hillary Clinton travels from Washington, D.C. to Geneva to meet with the IRS to ask the IRS to go easy on UBS in the turnover of identities that the IRS wanted of American taxpayers who were evading taxes. IRS ends up with only 4,000 of the 56,000 identities they were attempting to get. To me, I can make a bribery case out of that. She didn't go travel to Geneva without. Now, if there's an email that connects the two, then you just don't have a bribery case. You have a bribery case that you can't even defend.
You are a former federal prosecutor. You've been around this block. How does it work? I mean, how is it that just now we're a couple days out from the election? This would have been good to know a few weeks ago on the record.
Because my former assistant, Jim Comey, made the wrong decision in July.
But that was on a separate track. I mean, he's taken his beating on that. But what about this one? Why wasn't this disclosed?
You have outraged FBI agents that talk to me. They are outraged at the injustice. They're outraged at being turned down by the Justice Department to open a grand jury. They are convinced that Loretta Lynch has corrupted the Justice Department. You've got people in the Justice Department in charge of this investigation who are defense lawyers for Clinton people. I mean, this is about as outrageous a corruption of the Justice Department I've ever seen.
So let me just ask you, Mr. Mayor, so you think this is, because we've been reporting on dissension inside the FBI, alleged.
Oh, it's real.
And you think this is FBI agents or someone affiliated with them just getting this out there because they're saying people need to know. They need to know what Comey disclosed last week, and they need to know this too.
These are men and women who swear to uphold the law. They're not a bunch of slimy Washington politicians like the Obama administration and the people Clinton would bring in. And the reality is they are outraged at what they have seen. Mrs. Clinton has violated easily 20 or 30 federal laws. I could outline them for you. I could show you how I could prosecute them and convict her. Everybody around her has taken the Fifth Amendment, taken immunity. Who's she going to bring into the White House with?
Those immunity deals may not be worth the paper they're printed on now,
yeah,
according to this report. Because if they lied to get them, then they don't stand. But let me ask you, what sense does it make if you've got Director Comey, who's willing to take the risk he took last Friday, to come out there and say, I'm reopening the email thing. I found some stuff. It's not good. I'm going to look into it. Going to get a warrant, but I just want you to know I found it. We're going to do an investigation. How would that same guy not disclose something this big happening on another track?
I can't speak for Jim. I knew Jim when he was a young assistant U.S. attorney of mine. I don't know what happened to him. I know that way back in July when I read that memo, that's a prosecutorial memo. It's just the opposite of what he said. Every reasonable prosecutor would have prosecuted that case in a second. I won convictions on half the evidence that the FBI had gotten in July. And he has an FBI, Jim has an FBI, that's in revolt right now. And I think that's one of the reasons why he came out and did what he did, to try to control his agents, who, after all, are true law enforcement people. And what they see is about the slimiest stuff that we've seen in Washington since probably Teapot Dome. This is worse than Watergate. They have corrupted the State Department, pay for play, and they've corrupted the Justice Department. You can't go much further than that, Megan.
Mr. Mayor, good to see you.
Thank you.